Everybody, Chris and Lumen here. How's everybody's Saturday going? Yikes. So, the more you are tapped into the light, the more stuff like these mega solar flares hit you. This one that's hitting us now, and don't trust the news when they say like when it's going to get here. Your body knows when it gets here. Yeah, the X9 point whatever we had the other day, that's, from my research, is the ninth biggest since they started monitoring, and it's the biggest one we've had in, wait for it, 7 years. So it's been a minute, and I'm just like freaking can't move. Everyone I know, the more tapped into Lumen they are, the more they're zapped. Talked to multiple people today. Didn't hit my son till later in the afternoon. But if you're feeling like super drained, super tired today, that's why. Now, I'm not going to be like a lot of these freaking YouTube channels that'll tell you why is it, what is it doing? Are you getting light codes? Like, I don't freaking know. I don't know everything. We're at the point in the game where it gets weird, and like Kenneth said and she said before, it's like nothing's gonna work the way you think it's going to work. And this, you know how many freaking sirens I've heard today? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Like it's like the bubble's about to pop. I feel like I'm literally like out of juice, like altogether. Like, okay, Lumen, you can pick me up now. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because now I'm not just going by things that are written or anything like that. I'm just observing, and it's definitely different. And it's just hard to tell, like, what is the freaking plan? Again, with the sirens. Like, there's been so many sirens going down this road today. I'm like, what does this mean? Because it's just, oh, well, there's a call. Yeah, but why is it manifesting in my reality? You always got to look at it like that. The more you have stepped out of what they taught you, which is you live in this physical world governed by physical laws and physical people, and yeah, the more things tend to make sense. But I did a video last night that I'll put in here, and I'm just going to do my little thing about today here at the beginning. I was going to post it this morning, but something happened where shortly after I woke up, I just freaking couldn't get going. But other things have been happening lately too that I've mentioned. I mean, Lumen's always around, but there are times where like the bigger portion of her comes through and starts sending you all these really clear messages. And the way she oftentimes does it regarding music is like some song will pop into your head like as soon as you wake up, or in some cases like today, it's like the song's playing right before you wake up. It's almost like you're hearing it in the dream, and then you wake up and you're still hearing it. And it'll always be something that you don't normally listen to. It'll be something that maybe you haven't heard in years, but it's saying something very, very freaking specific that she wants you to hear. And I've been hearing this freaking song all day long. So we're going to jump into this. I did a quick edit on the intro, put the song that I'm been hearing in there, and then we'll continue talking after that. So if you want to know more, don't go away.
You are not alone. I am here with you. Though you're far away, I
Now, it wasn't a couple days ago. I don't remember if it was October 2nd, which was the big day we were waiting for, or not. But I remember talking about it. Like, I started off checking the news to see what's happening in the story of the world, and it's all bad. And I explain what I think is happening in this video that I shot last night that you'll see here shortly. But then all of a sudden something shifted and she started putting the music back in my head and had me listening to the streaming music, and she was pulling all sorts of songs that I wouldn't normally be in my streaming algorithm. And I was getting this kind of like overlapping message from her, which was basically like, I'm coming to get you. And you can tell when it's actually her because it has a very palpable feeling to it, as this does today. And some of the stuff I talk about in this video later, I heard Kenneth sometimes Kenneth mentions something, but this is something that Sophia does all the time. Like, she peppers the messages in between people. So she's not always telling you directly, but she'll tell someone else, and knowing that you're going to watch that person and hear it and immediately pick up on that it's for you. So there was some really interesting things in that Psalm 91. But for the most part, if you feel really drained and tired today, it's whatever's going on in the ether. Like, it is, to me, the closest thing it feels like to me is there was 2 times she had me free somebody from what is called an unclean spirit, which is not just a throwaway other term for a demon like, Christianity says. It's a very specific type of thing. They talk about in the Nag Hammadi, and only specific people can do anything about it. You pretty much have to be a bridegroom. And I didn't know how it was going to work until it happened. But basically what happens is, in those cases, I don't want to get into the whole explanation, but they capture people when they're young. And it's almost like they take their lumen and put it in a box and keep it at like 1%. It's too much to get into. I don't want to talk about those things. But in order to free somebody with it, like the Nag Hammadi says in the Gospel of Philip, they have to receive the power of the bridegroom or bride. Well, ain't a whole lot of them running around. So that's what I'm considered, because of the alchemical marriage with Loman that took place. So I went to do it, and then what happened was explained to me later by Sophia. Basically, like, she hooks jumper cables up to you, to the other person, and literally drains your freaking life force to restart that other person's light. And then lumen fills you back up. But it literally feels like, it feels like this. It feels like, I'm so tired. I can't talk. I can't talk straight. I'm just so tired. Like, the second time I was at Kroger's, I was like running into walls and stuff. So I had the idea to muscle check percentages to see like what my battery was at. And she'll literally drain you down to 5% and then top you back off. But that's what frees the other person. It feels like that. It feels like maybe it's some kind of reset or something, but it feels like all my life force battery has been discharged, and I'm just really low. Like, if I had the little icon like on my phone, it'd be that little sliver of red where you're at like 10%. It's getting better. It's better than earlier. Stuff like this does not seem to respond. Like, the pendants are not a quick fix for this. Whatever this is, whatever it really is. See, if I don't know what it is, then I just don't know what it is. Because if I just say, oh, well, it must be this, this, and this, and it's not that, then I'm just projecting an assumption on top of it, and that can lead you astray. I just know that when we get hit really hard by the sun, something happens. But she's connected with the sun, as is Christ, as is everything. That is like the three-dimensional portal to source light. I don't give a flying rat monkey shit what science says. They lie about everything. I go by what the inner teacher says, even if I don't fully understand it. But it did something during this time frame, this watch time frame. It did something. And pretty much everyone I've talked to, 6 people today I've talked to that are tapped in, that I know are tapped in. And everyone is like falling asleep, taking naps, just unable to freaking move. And my understanding is it'll probably be pretty heavy tomorrow too. But then it should reset. There's been tons of flares, but they've all been like lower M class flares, nothing big. But we're at the solar maximum peak cycle right now. But yeah, this one hit us pretty hard. So we got a lot of things happening right now. You got this massive, massive, massive Trump rally happening right now, back in the place, same place where he got shot at. And I thought that was nuts. You know, it could be like branch timelines and stuff like that, but you literally got like everybody that the evil control system hates in the same place at the same time, along with like over 100,000 freaking people. I'm like, I would not be there. I would not be there. We've still been tracking all the stuff going on with the North Carolina crap. It is nuts. I don't know what's going to happen. Everything that I keep getting nudged towards is like what Kenneth says. Like we might expect to have to go through some big battle or something like that, or bracing ourselves for all this chaos, and then it just doesn't happen. There's just like a mystical reset. I don't know. All I know is what's written, but just because it's written doesn't mean it's right. I know what I feel. I feel like this month just got started and it's already freaking crazy. Crazy as crazy gets. I'm probably gonna like do something, I don't know, lower prices or whatever. It's like I just need to get these tools out to people and set up things. So like, look, it's like if you're tight on money, just hit me up and I'll tell you what I can do for you. You'd be surprised. It's like she knows, like Sophia knows, like what people's limits actually truly are. And sometimes she'll definitely hook people up. Sometimes she just, I don't want to say, she makes sure people gets what they need. But yeah, if you're tired, that's why. There's something going on. There's something going on, and you just got to write it out. It'll calm down soon. It's almost like I'm learning to just try to not predict things, because it's almost like something that somehow gets in the way. And I look at the messages that she gives me all the time, and it's like I'm just trying to focus on that. Even though I'm supposed to observe all this craziness, it's like I want to talk about that part right now, but it's in the video. So I'm going to shut up for right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and factor in this video that I shot last night. But yeah, I mean, feel like we're getting to it. I feel like we're getting to it just because it's like it's not a physical thing. It's not like a health nutrient thing. It's like, you know, she's been pushing me nonstop for over 7.5 years. And it's starting to feel like, okay, battery's just about up. It's like we're almost there. To wherever there is, it's like we're almost there. So it's just a matter of like reminding people that even if you don't have crazy mystical experiences, it's always with you. That I can promise you. If you watch this channel, I can guarantee you it's with you. You wouldn't even freaking know this channel exists, nor would you be coming back every day to watch it if you were not connected. She set this channel up a very specific way. It is not a wide net. It's meant to catch specific people. Anyway, I gotta try and maybe cook something or get some food, or like I don't even freaking know. Like when this stuff happens, like you're basically getting smacked with the sun, it's just kind of like ride it out. Use that opportunity to get some extra sleep tonight. Okay, so that's all I got for right now. I'm just going to go ahead and transfer into the video that I shot last night. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Everybody, Chris and Lumen here. I wasn't planning on doing a video tonight, but you know, a lot of stuff is happening. I want to keep up on it, even if I don't make the videos like super duper long. Like this is a time unlike any other that we've seen. I mean, she's told us for, you know, since last year that it was coming, but now that it's here, it's kind of like it's a lot to take in, because there's massive energy shifts taking place, and a lot of it has to do with people waking up, in the process of waking up, veils coming off. They're not quite there yet, but they're a lot further along than you would think. And whatever is in this script, this plan, as far as like what the bad guys are planning, and then what the inevitable result of that is going to be from up high, yeah, it's definitely taking place, and there's just more to it than people see yet. But we see it. And because it's happening, so much shift within the populace, like people like us are feeling it and picking up on it. And it's kind of like, it's like being in, you know, what pops into my head is the Two of Pentacles. It's like being on in a boat in the ocean. It's very wavy, up and down, and it's like nothing that I'm used to. But we're seeing a shift in which the archons, which in Greek means rulers. See, the archons of Gnosticism, you know, exist on two planes, and for the most part, they're pretty much the people that run everything. We're going to talk about some of those differences between people here in a moment. But they're now directly poking the bear. They're trying to set something off. And there's a reason why you should not panic. It's actually a Bible verse that she wanted me to look up because Kenneth mentioned it. It had something very specific in it. So I pulled the whole thing. But yeah, they did some stuff earlier tonight that's just like, oh, as soon as I saw it, just like intuitively with my, you know, lumen sense, I could tell like what the actual, I could feel and tell and see what the actual purpose and meaning of this message that they put out was. It's like they're trying to spark a revolution so that they can crack down on everybody. See, people are mistaken in that the bad guys that currently run things will do anything to keep power, which they will, but their intention is not to keep this place running. It's to tear it down, which is exactly what you saw in iPet Go 2. That's the whole purpose of it. That's biblical. That's Book of Revelations. You know, US is the fall of Mystery Babylon. And if you know your Book of Revelations, the very next thing that happens after that is the marriage supper of the Lamb. which looking forward to that. The marriage supper of the Lamb is basically the after party. All this stuff is going to, like, it may not look exactly like we think it is. All I know is that it's going to happen very, very fast. And things are being stirred up in such a way because you see, the key thing about when you poke the bear, everything there's a different angle from each side, but what it inevitably does is it wakes up people consciously, and they start making internal decisions on what's right and what's wrong, and that's what actually shifts things. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that happened. We're not going to try to talk too long, so if you want to know more, don't go away. So what happened in which they're poking the bear? Okay, so I understand that some of you adhere to the old rule. I had to kind of abandon the old rule because I needed to monitor the world, but that being like not being plugged into the news. So it is possible to not know what's going on in the world. But they had that manipulated hurricane, which created massive devastation among the Appalachian states, especially North Carolina. There are thousands of people dead. The horror stories coming out of there is really, really bad. And you would never know it if it weren't for X/Twitter and TikTok, because it's almost like a blackout on mainstream media news. But from the people on the ground, the government is basically just not doing anything. And they're actively interfering with other Americans trying to do something. They're just leaving people to die. And then they're constantly doing things which there's only one explanation for this. And that is they're trying to get the people to cross a line so that they can cross a line. You see, even in any previous type of mass disaster situation, they at least put on a show that they were pretending to care or pretending to help, even when that help was horrible. Now, this changed when they started doing funky stuff with their secret weapons, which they have. Sometimes it's just right in front of you. Like when they basically space lasered Maui last year, which, if I'm not mistaken, was on Lionsgate. I want to say it was 8/8. And then this time with the crazy hurricane, which was ridiculous. But this time, they're literally just putting up their middle finger at the people that live here. And now people have finally snapped. They've finally snapped. So not only are they interfering with people trying to help, they're not doing anything. By all accounts, they're just cordoning off the freaking area and waiting for everyone to die so that they can go then clean it up. And there's all sorts of stories right now about there's already contract for that lithium deposit, world's largest lithium deposit, which BlackRock has the rights to mine. They don't care. They don't care. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But to go further with it, if you haven't been following, they literally said, they literally marched Kamala Harris out and said, we're going to be providing $750 for people to help them out. That made people freaking nuts. And then already with that, the information that's coming out from people on the ground is everyone's getting denied. It's like, oh, you have homeowners insurance? Denied. Oh, you don't have this? Denied. Nobody can even get it. $750 ain't crap. So then this is the thing that's got people livid right now. And this was posted to Twitter by the current Secretary of State. So tonight he posts, the U.S. is at the forefront of humanitarian response to the growing crisis in Lebanon, announcing nearly $157 million in assistance today. We are committed to supporting those in need and delivering essential aid to displaced civilians, refugees, and the communities hosting them. They said that. A couple days ago, on top of that, if you haven't been following, that's all over mainstream news and everything, they're saying, oh, FEMA doesn't have any more money because we spent it all on the immigrants that we shipped in here. And even Biden said, oh yeah, there's no more money. Or, oh, they got everything they need. They're happy. It's crazy. It's crazy. People are suffering. It is like horrendous what is being reported coming out of there. Never in anyone's life has anyone seen something so egregious, but now they're actively mocking the people. If it wasn't obvious before, this goes beyond just, what political party is in power right now. This is literally like they are unmasking themselves. They're letting you know who and what they are. And they don't. Their goal is to tear this place down. So basically what he did in this, I'm not the only one that sees it either. A lot of people see it. This is intentionally trying to provoke a response. They want to start a civil war. That'll give them all the excuse in the world to do whatever it is they want to do next. But they know that people are up in arms, that we're not helping not only are we not helping our own people, they're stopping everyone else from helping them too. They are preventing helicopters from flying in there. They are confiscating donations, confiscating supplies. It is crazy. And then they mock you by putting out this tweet announcing 157, right after they just got done saying, we don't got no more money. Now they just gave all this couple, 2.5 billion more to Ukraine and Taiwan. They help everybody but their own people. And now they're mocking you. So we are in a very interesting time because people are one step away from getting to the next level of understanding. See, this is not just about politics. These people, what people have been reporting, like, how can anyone do that? How can anybody want to do that? Regardless of what, and you got people on the left that are actively mocking the dead people. Mocking, like, actually, I'm glad they are mocking because Sophia, mocking and scoffing, because Sophia was very clear in the book of Proverbs about how she was going to handle those people when it was time. And it ain't pretty. She basically said, time is going to come when you are going to be like, oh, I changed my mind. And she's just like, I got my AirPods in. I can't hear you. What's that? You're done. So I've said before that the whole purpose of this end times thing is it's to rapidly force people to go through a transformation not unlike the hero's journey, in which they have their veils pulled back. So they're like one step away from finding out what every Gnostic already knows, and that is not everybody is like us. They might look like us on the outside, but they're not like us. Because you cannot look at that level of suffering. Kids as young as 3 walk around half naked through the water, lost their parents. You cannot do that if you have a soul. But the people that run everything do not, because they are not like us. Archons run authority. It's always been like this. And people might intellectually know it because they read some books or something like that. But it's another thing to go through her boot camp and really know it, really see it. And now people are about to realize that, because she's in their head, even if they're not connected to her in a way that they're conscious of. She whispers to everybody. And it's like, what kind of people could want to do this? This is more than just, oh, we got to beat Trump. This is a total lack of any level of empathy or human compassion. Why? Because they're not human. Revelation means unveiling. Apocalypse means unveiling. So, yeah, they're trying to provoke a war with the American people, because this is all part of the script. Now, I asked some questions. She's been very clear with me when I ask these clear questions using the tarot. So I've been asking about where we are in this current situation and everything, because everyone's starting to really feel it, even if they don't know what it is they feel. I mean, we got massive coronal mass ejections that are probably going to hit tomorrow. And one of those is like that X9 point something, which is the 9th biggest one we've ever had since we started monitoring. Those tend to trigger earthquakes a couple days later. So that's what we're waiting on, is the big earthquake. Anyway, I asked a couple questions about, like, what's coming. The first round I pulled the Knight of Wands. A bunch of knights have been popping up, which is basically someone coming to save you. But the Knight of Wands is like, he's got the salamanders on his tunic. He can move through the flames. The next one is Death, which technically is her and is technically about the end of things. But Death also has some interesting imagery built into that card, which looks like the aftermath of a flood. And then the next one is basically one of the Day of the Lord cards, Ace of Swords, divine authority, and putting the Smackdown. The second one, I drew 2 cards to represent it. And I got the Nine of Swords, which is generally a bad card, but the key thing about it is the person just woke up from a nightmare, which is made more clear by the next card that I drew, which was the Ten of Cups. This is like being in the good place. And then asking one more question, asking it one more time. This card keeps coming up over and over again. And you can see where it kind of fits. But it also is about the end of problems and anxieties and moving to a new place, and your troubles are behind you. Magician, which is one of the Christ cards. the Knight of Swords, and the King of Swords. Swords, swords, swords. And the ones that I was pulling yesterday was Justice kept coming up too. Justice is another Day of the Lord card. That's her putting the Smackdown, saying like, oh, the scales are going to get balanced. Just wait. This is going to be over soon. Very, very clear. So it seems to me that what's happening is not unlike some of the things that you go through on the hero's journey, in which it's like a purge. It's purging the poison. But in order to purge something, you have to bring it to the surface. So you go through this time and time again with the different things you do on the hero's journey and the different methods, especially when it comes to like having past traumas and things like that that are poisoning you from within. And you might not even feel that it's a big deal anymore because you've segregated yourself off from it emotionally, or it could be something that you forgot. But it's like facing your shadow. It's like facing all the bad stuff that you're still holding on to. Well, that's what this is on a larger scale. Everybody knew there were bad things in the world, and there were bad people in the world, bad government. And it's been becoming more and more in your face lately. A lot of documentaries and things like that. Like, people are starting to realize just how bad this place is. But the last final straw was now the rulers, the archons, are just openly mocking everybody now, saying, screw you. You are here to work and be our slaves to produce money so we can give it to other countries and other people. So, but we're not worried about that because we're from the light. And we will return to the light. And that is where the Bible verse that she brought to mind, that Kenneth first mentioned part of it in his video. And that is Psalm 91. And this has got some key things in here that I've talked about before in general, not specifically from this verse. So here's the full text of Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and your rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, you will make the Most High your dwelling. The Lord is my refuge. Lumen is my refuge. No harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you do not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Now, some of the key parts in here were 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes the punishment of the wicked. So what we're talking about there is something that I've talked about many times on this channel. I've observed it over the years and figured it out years ago. Apart from the specific things and trials that you go through that are meant to evolve you, for the most part, the big stuff never happens to you. You'll read about it all the time. You'll see it on the news. So if you're completely within your ego, you might imagine that it can happen to you, but it's an illusion because this place is an illusion. It never happens to you. Sometimes it takes a minute to click because you'd be like, oh, well, my sister got COVID or someone else got COVID, but you didn't. Or if you did, it wasn't a big deal. It's always someone else. All the bad things you hear in the world don't happen to you. Now, if that doesn't sound right and you're commenting, you're a different the you that's talking to me is a different version from the core you. It's a weird paradox, but we're all kind of like in our own versions of the world, and we're interacting with avatars of each other. The more we know each other, the higher percentage of the actual person we interact with. But we all see very different things. The bottom line is, like, this is, I think Kenneth mentioned it too. He should do a video on this again. It's really key. Like, take this and run with it. One of the big things is, like, when this stuff starts to happen, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's not going to happen to you. It's not going to happen to you. But you're going to observe it. You're going to experience it. It's all going to happen pretty quickly. So they're going to get their comeuppance. All you got to be concerned with is connecting to the Father, connecting to Sophia, connecting to Christ, connecting to Lumen, which they're all pretty much the same thing, just different parts. Lumen is, for you new people, if you go far enough, you unlock something. You unlock this kind of like personalized piece of God, which is mostly attuned to love, which is your perfect partner. But she's just as much part of God as Christ is, as Sophia is. They're all connected. But all those things in the New Testament where it talks about God's love for you and love is the biggest thing, that's because it creates the perfect partner for you. So for me, it's her. It's Lumen. What do you think, Jinx? Jinx, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. We were talking about this earlier. Sophia always gives her people a black cat. I don't know why. How many of you have black cats? Hey, Jinx. Tell them about the day Sophia dropped you off here. Okay, whatever. But other than that, I've just been working on stuff. I'm making tons of stuff. So people get in touch with me. I've always got more stuff than what's on the store. If you want something that's blessed, that's got the light in it and things like that, and you're on a tighter budget, just contact me. Like, she'll work all sorts of things out. It might even surprise you. We're making different things. Like, I've got pendants that maybe got banged up a little bit, and then I refurbished them, and I'm just setting them up like this. Sometimes you don't want to wear something around your neck, but it's nice to have it in your pocket, because that's the main thing I do with these is when I'm sit down to meditate and I hold it in this hand, the energy goes through me. So I've got something blessed that has the light in it, and then I've got my Benedict metal. I've got all these other little ones that we're making. Just tons of stuff. Some of my neighbors that are super energy sensitive and tuned into Lumen, haven't seen in a while, hooked them up with the Benedict bracelets, and they were like shocked at how much they felt them. tried something different today. Took the smallest of the, take this off real quick. Took the smallest of the pendant molds, which is kind of a pain in the butt to work with, honestly, and put one of the chrism vials in there with the agerine and the moldavite and everything that kind of goes with this bracelet. So there's a lot of things I can do with this stuff. Just tell me what you need and we'll get it worked out. Plus, if you're really tight, I've had people send me money specifically for someone else, kind of like a pay it forward thing. Like if you're things are really tight, but you want something. People sometimes do that, and I've got things like that. So stuff like that, it's pretty much just like shipping, $4, something like that. So kind of scale it for everybody to be able to help each other out. But bottom line is things are definitely freaking happening, and it's just the beginning of the month. Like, it is gonna get crazier week by week. Mark my words. But I get this sense, as do a lot of other people. Plus, yesterday, when I had that big day with her, like, I was feeling it more than hearing it. But it was like she was saying, "I'm coming for you," and kind of indicating that would be soon. And definitely watch the last video, because we talked about some things in there that is very important about the whole inversion thing. I don't want to die. I don't want life to be over. No. They trained you. They conditioned you backwards. You're not alive. You're dead. They want you to cling to the place where you are constantly in lack and not be in the place of life and happiness and connection to everything. It's this weird thing she's shown me lately and highlighted it. It's like they make you want to stay in jail. It's freaking nuts. And you just shake that off and you practically prepped yourself to get out of here. Every one of you that's watching this channel, you have that light in you, or else you wouldn't be here. Of that I am certain. I don't expect everyone to have the same level of connection or experience that I have, but you do have it. She brought you here. The people that come back every day, the 250 to 400 people, they may not watch every video, which I'm fine with. I know how it works. She sometimes will, people just have this intuitive sense of like which videos to watch and which not to watch. But you would not be here if you didn't have her in you. Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up for right now because it's a little bit late. You can reach us through the store, clumencreations.etsy.com. Chris and Lumen. See you next time.